Yo, what's going on, guys? Tomahawk Warrior here, and we're back. Now, some of you that have been watching the channel for a while may have seen my previous Kinnan video. However, with the update to MTG Arena having 100 card historic Brawl decks, we are going to revisit my Kinnan deck profile. If you guys want to see the original video, I will link it down in the description below. However, we're going to take a second to fanboy about Kinnan. Kinnan is my favorite commander. I do own this deck in real life. The deck performs fantastically. So I've tried to keep the spirit of that deck in this deck. So there isn't that many counter spells like I would run in a normal commander format. This deck is mainly about getting up big creatures and abusing Keenan's abilities. So why Kinnan Bond or Prodigy? Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, you may add 1 mana of any type that permanent produce, which means that your mana dorks and mana rocks are going to tap for double what they should, so you can start to while out really quickly with Kinnan. Uh, then his other ability is you pay 5 and Simic. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a non-human creature from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in any order. So that's how we're going to use the deck. We're going to choose out giant creatures and play them for less than we probably would have to pay for them normally. So, first card in the deck is Kinnan. Next, we have our 3 draw cards. So, one consider, one opt, one anticipate. They basically all do the same thing in their own way. Either ditch card in the library, draw, scry, draw a card, or like the top 3 cards, add one to your hand, put the other in the bottom. Pretty standard, pretty simple. I do run unsummoned because your opponent's big scary creature, and you have no way to do it. Just bounce it back to their hand, give it summoning sickness again. Heroic intervention. Uh, card's amazing if when you need it. It will either protect Kinnan or it will protect your giant creatures that for some reason can't protect themselves by giving them hexproof and indestructible. Uh, our mana dorks, we have the tree, we have Incubation Druid, Leafkin Druid, Paradise Druid, Mana Leaf Pixie, and Gaia Engineer. They all do the same thing. Basically, they're going to tap for a mana. Gaia Engineer will tap for Simic colors. But yeah, basically, you want to get these cards out as quickly as possible and then use them to either ramp into more mana dorks or mana rocks so that you can use Kinnan. Apply Biomancy, tap for Simic, or pay Simic. Uh, Either target creature you control gets +1/+1, or the reason it's in the deck, return target creature to its owner's hand. So again, so one more than unsummon, but does the same thing, just bounce something that your opponent has that you don't want to deal with, and you don't have to deal with it. Decisive Denial, target creature you control, target creature you don't control will fight. Or you can counter target non-creature spell unless its controller plays 3. So your opponent plays something like the Great Henge or some sort of mana dork or something that's really going to help them go off with like an enchantment. Perhaps something like Black Market. You can just counter it. Or what I mainly use this card for, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So you get a big scary creature and it fights something that your opponent wants to protect, and get rid of it that way. Gross File, Simic, draw a card. You put a land card from your hand to the battlefield. Fantastic. Arcane Signet, the first of our couple mana rocks that we have. Cancel, pretty standard. Counter target spell. You can run more counter spells in your deck than I do in this current deck profile. However, because MTG Arena doesn't have the standard commander counters that you normally have, I have elected only to run 3. If you want to add more, you definitely can, but I have chosen not to. Narset Potter of Veils. Your opponent can draw more than one card each turn. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them. Put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. Narset's basically here just to make sure my opponents can't ramp faster than what I can by drawing cards. It really hurts some of the new popular commanders that we're seeing. But yeah, if you don't want to include Narset and you want something else, feel free to take her out. Wildcrafter, each creature you control with a +1/+1 has tap, add 1 mana of any color. minus them down by 1, put a +1/+1 target counter target creature. Basically, if your opponent or my opponent has jailed one of my cards, I'll use it to at least allow them to generate me mana, which again will then help with Kinnan. But again, this is another card that's more in here because of its utility. You don't need it if you don't want it. Yorgov is secretly underrated because it's a 3 cost for 0/0. However, when it enters the battlefield, it enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another green creature, aka everything in the deck, enters the battlefield under my control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then if that creature's power is greater than Yorgov's power, put another +1/+1 on it. So this card, if you can get it out early enough into the game, will start ramping and growing itself pretty big. I have seen him where he's got up to 15/15. Uh, and then my opponent did just kill him, which was unfortunate. But definitely, if you can get him out early, really, really good. Guy Engineer, like I said, taps for Simic. Korra, Behemoth the Beckoner. Whenever creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under control, draw a card. That's fantastic because with Keen, you're going to be casting a lot of cards. And then the -1 is untap target permanent, which is again fantastic. So you swing with something big, untap it, and it can defend you. Or you use one of your mana dorks, untap it, and then reuse it again, so you get a lot of mana. Simic Locker, standard mana rock. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Fantastic card if it's used early. If this card's in your opening hand, 100% try to keep that hand. Because if the game gets later, Uro basically kind of becomes a dead card. In the early game, the ability to draw a card, gain 3 life, and then put another land from your hand onto the battlefield is fantastic. However, because you have to escape it to keep it on the field, if you get to a point where you have 5 other cards in your graveyard, either your opponent has board wiped and you're basically back at square one, or it's late enough in the game to where you really shouldn't need the 6/6 on the field. I mean, the draw is nice, but yeah, basically put him in early or just kind of let him do his thing in the deck. Heraldic Banner, choose a color when it enters the battlefield, green, and then creatures that are green get +1/+1. Also, it taps to add 1 green, or if Keenan's out, it will be 2. It's another mana rock. It's pretty good. Spark Double, Spark Double, Spark Double. It's a 4 cost. When it enters the battlefield, it becomes a copy of a creature planeswalker you control with an additional +1 counter on it. You don't really need to use this on Keenan. Basically, either have it come in as a copy of one of your giant creatures, or I have used it to actually make another mana dork if I needed mana for some reason. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, this card is just going to come in as another copy of something big, so you can go burr twice. That's a Deep Dwelling. Really good card for for being a blocker. It's indestructible, 5/6. The devotion can be kind of difficult. You need your Simic cards out in order for it to not be not a creature. But why it's in the deck is at the beginning of your end step, exile one other target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under my control. So this will work with Kolga when he comes in to activate his I fight a card that your opponent controls. Or there are a couple other cards that do have enter battlefield effects that are really good to have twice. Or again, if necessary, just you attack with a giant creature, phases out, comes back in, untapped. Yay! And then you can pay 3 and a green and a blue, sorry, to tap a creature. So if your opponent only has one thing, tap it, swing for game. Leyline of Abundance. This card, in my opinion, is fantastic. It obviously, if it is in your opening hand, you get to start with it. But whenever you tap a creature for mana, add additional green, so it helps with the ramp. The 4 cost for it is a little bit much. I run it because if it is in your opening hand, you get it for free, or it is another source of mana. However, normally if you see this late game, just ignore it. Use it to discard if you need be. Or I mean, you could play it 6 in a green. You put +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. But normally at that point, you're just going to be casting something giant and swinging for game. However, like I said, if you can get it out early, good card to have. Nylea Kenai, Again, another great defender because she is indestructible. If your devotion to green is less than 5, it isn't a creature. Well, guess what? We're playing Civic, and everything is green, so it's not going to be hard to make her a creature. The big reason she's in the deck, though, is creature spells cost 1 less to cast when she's on the field, so that does make those big creatures a bit easier to cast. Makes their mid creatures easier to cast. It makes everything easier to cast. Also, you can pay 3 or reveal top card of your library. If it's a huge card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you put it into your graveyard. There are cards that are going to let us see the top of our decks in the game, so you can kind of use them to do a bit of deck shenanigans with. But like I said, mainly she's in here because she makes things easier to cast. Questing Beast. This card was so annoying to go up against in Standard, so I was very happy when it was taken out of rotation. However, in Historic Brawl, it's back, so let's abuse it while we can. It's 4 cost for 4/4, Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Its power, it is deceptively powerful because it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. So you can't have it die while one Death Touch creature. Combat damage that would be dealt by creature neutral can't be prevented, and then when it deals damage to an opponent, it does that much damage to target planeswalker. So just spring into your opponent, deals 4 damage, and will deal 4 damage to a planeswalker that your opponent controls. So that gets rid of your opponent's Treferi, Jace, what have you. Great card. Just once you do cast it, don't expect it to be around for very long because your opponents will get rid of it as soon as they can. Body Double. Fantastic card. Your big creatures get milled because your opponent's playing a mill deck, no problem. I'll play a copy of it with Body Double. Yeah, it comes in. Normally is a big copy of something from your deck. However, you could use it to copy something in your opponent's graveyard if there's something that you want in there. Great card to have. Elder Gargoth. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Reach is the key thing here. Kinnan decks do suffer from not having a lot of things to do with flying, so this card does help with it. And then whenever it attacks or blocks, you can either create a 3/3 beast token, gain 3 life, or draw a card. All 3 options are good. Situational which one you want, but yeah, fantastic card to have. Gigantosaurus. It's 5 green for a 10/10. Duh, why would you not want this card on your field in your deck? Basically wherever this card is, it's already doing something for you. Put it in your deck. Nisu Shake Some Worlds. Whenever you tap a forest for mana, it adds additional green, so this will help you ramp because Simic can't ramp already on its own. It needs help. I'm kidding. Before I get roasted in the comments for saying that. And then obviously it's +1. You create a 3/3 land creature that has vigilance and haste, so it swings. Mainly it's here because once you start going with the deck, you want to do the -8, basically where all your lands are indestructible. But more importantly, search your library for any number of forests, put them onto the battlefield tap because we are running a ton of forests in this deck. That's fantastic. Get them out of the deck, and then you're just going to be able to draw either into cards you need, or you're going to be able to use Kinnan's effect to get giant creatures out onto the battlefield. Vivian, Monsters Advocate. Like I said, you're going to be able to look at the top card of your library at any time. So, some deck shenanigans. Make sure you get to cast what you want with Kinnan, or if you don't want to, put it in your hand. Obviously, her +1 is fantastic. Create a 3/3 beast creature with either Vigilance, Reach, or Trample. Obviously, you're probably going to put Vigilance or Reach on it, sorry, to help you deal with flying. And then the -2 whenever you cast the next creature card this turn, set your library for a creature card with lesser mana value, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. So, cast a green creature card, search for a smaller green creature, search for a smaller creature card. Fantastic. Don't expect her to stay around for very long because few people will let you have this card. So use it and then try to get something going so that they let Vivian stay around. Aggressive Mammoth, Trample, 8/8. Other creatures you control have Trample. There are a couple other cards in this deck that are going to basically be our game winners, and this is one of them. Given anything, we have Trample is the way that we're going to win the game because most of our big creatures don't have it, or they will have it, but basically this is just going to help you swing over your opponent for game. Great card to have. Grundy the Lonely King. 5/5. If you kick it for 3, it comes in with additional +1/+1 counters on it. So it becomes a 10/10, and whatever attacks alone doubles power and toughness at the end of the turn. So if you kick it and it attacks by itself, it's attacking for 20 damage as a 20/20. You don't need to kick it normally. When it comes in as a 5/5, if it attacks by itself, it becomes a 10/10. That's already hard enough to deal with. You don't need the 20/20. But, I mean, if you want it, it's there. Just a good utility card. Kolga, the Titan, fantastically broken card. Whenever it enters the battlefield, it fights a card that you don't control, and whenever it attacks, you destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. This card is brutal against certain decks, destroying their enchantments, things like Black Market, Aether Flux. It's fantastic to have. And then when it comes into the battlefield, it fights. So if you use Sasa and it bounces at the end of the turn, comes back in, fights something else, helps get rid of your opponent's problematic monsters pretty quickly. Nyxbloom Ancient. 5/5 trample. Whenever target permanent taps for mana, it produces 3 times as much mana instead. This card is basically going to let you just wild out with Kinnan because all your mana dorks and rocks are just going to be tapping for an obscene amount of mana, and you get to play a bunch of big creatures with it. Again, play this card, make use of it because your opponent will not let you keep it, but it does distract from having Kinnan on the field or something else that will be coming in. So, fantastic card. Rampaging Bronze Dawn. 7/7 trample. Whenever it enters the battle, whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Again, with something like Nissa or Uro, something that's allowed you to put lands onto the battlefield, this card can get big really quickly, and then having trample, it means that it will swing over small defenders, so your opponent will actually have to dedicate resources stopping it. Really good card to have. Thorn Mammoth. 6/6 trample. Whenever it enters the battlefield or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it fights one target creature you don't control. Again, if Kolga was broken, this is even more broken because it fights multiple times. So, great utility card for just fighting whatever card your opponent has. Something like that pesky little dog that sacrifice it, prevent all combat damage. Yeah, get rid of that with this. Tree Shaker Chimera, 8/5. All creatures able to block Tree Shaker Chimera do. When it dies, you draw 3 cards. So it's a sacrificial card. Comes in when all your other big creatures swing. They don't have trample. No problem. Your opponent has to block this card. It will die. You draw 3 cards, and your big creatures will have probably swung for game. If not, you drew 3 cards. Great card to have. Kamoa Cosmo Serpent. Broken card to have. This card is amazing because it can't be countered. Fantastic. And at the beginning of each upkeep, you create a 3/3 Serpent Coil creature with the ability to sacrifice it, either tap a permanent, and its abilities can't be activated, or Kamoa gains Indestructible. Indestructible is nice. However, being able to stop your opponent's commander from working or their other creatures on the field from working is amazing. And remember, you get a 3/3 creature token at the beginning of each upkeep, so that is your turn and your opponent's turn. If you don't have a copy of this card, go get yourself one. Fantastic card. Bookworm. Bookworm is I'm not sure if I love this card or if I hate it, and I probably will never figure it out. It is a 7/7 trample card. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life, draw a card. You can pay 3, put it back, or you can put it back from your graveyard, 3rd card on top of your library. So you do have ways of constantly casting it with Kinnan, for the ability to gain 3 life and draw cards. If you have enough mana, you can gain a bunch of life and draw a bunch of cards. Great, but more than likely, you're gonna just play it because it's a 7/7 trample card, and then if it dies, it stays dead. Greater Behemoth. If I have to explain why this card is great, then you need to figure out what you're doing with your life. 5/5 haste. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get trample and +X/+X until the end of the turn, where X is the number of creature cards you control. So, like I said, you're going to cast a lot of creatures. Greater Behemoth comes in, you gain +X/+X, and you gain trample. Ends the game for you. Pretty fantastic card. Get yourself one if you ever want to play this game in real life. However, it is going to cost you upwards of $40. Just a heads up. Enrace Forerunner. Vigilance, Trample, Haste, 7/7. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 Vigilance and Trample to the end of the turn. Again, this is another game ender. All our creatures get slightly bigger and get Trample. The Great Hinge. This card costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. We're playing Kinnan. We get out big creatures for free, or ish. So the Great Henge no longer costs 7; it costs 2. It does tap for green, so it'll tap for an additional green with Kinnan, and you gain 2 life. Also, whenever a non-token creature card enters the battlefield you control, put +1/+1 on it and draw a card. This card, combined with the Planeswalker that I talked about earlier, is what's going to allow you to just constantly refill your hand. Again, really good card. Don't expect it to stay around for a while, but again, while you have it, it's a fantastic boon to have. There's no reason that this card should not be in your deck. Titanith Rex. It's 11/11 trample. Again, you're using this as because it's a big giant beat stick with trample. If necessary, it's in your opening hand. You can cycle it, so it does have some versatility. Again, good card to have, and it's not super rare to get, so you can craft it easily. Impervious Great Worm, 16/16, indestructible. There is basically nothing in the game that can deal with this card because it is indestructible. You can give it hexproof, and then you really can't deal with it. The only thing that sucks about this card is that it doesn't have trample because that would be broken. But like I said, there are multiple ways to give him trample, so guess what? Fantastic card. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. When you cast it, exile 2 permanents your opponent controls. It's indestructible, and then whenever it attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of the library. Yeah, there's a reason this card is a game winner in historic standard decks. So it's in my Kinnan deck because, again, it's amazing. Icebreaker Kraken. So this card is in the deck because of its middle effect. Because I don't run any Snowlands in the deck, I can't use its secondary effect. However, if you want to put Snowlands, you can. But I've chosen Islands, and I'm not changing that. So when it enters the battlefield, artifacts and creatures your opponent controls don't untap during the player's next untap step. So guess what? You play it. Your opponent's already tapped out. They can't do anything. Guess what? They can't do anything in their following turn. So you basically get another turn to do whatever you need. This is pretty much a game winner on its own. So, again, put it in your deck is what I'm saying. Primal Hunger costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. It's 12/12 with trample. You get out one of your big creatures. This card becomes extremely easy to cast and cheap. Put it in your deck. Earthquaker Dragon. It's a 10/10 flying trample card. Yeah, like I said, Kinnan has a little bit of trouble dealing with fire, so we put in a 10/10 flying trample dragon. You could bring it back to your hand if you wanted to. However, the 14 cost to play it, or sorry, 15 cost to play it is kind of high. So basically, either cast it with Kinnan or just let it be in the graveyard. Finale of Devastation. Search your library and or graveyard for a creature card with mana value X. So it does allow you to go back into your graveyard to bring back one of your important creatures that was milled or destroyed. And then put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If X is 10 or more, as it should be with your Earthquaker, Primal Hunger, Ulamog, Impervious Great Worm, creatures you control get +10/+10 and haste. So this will just, again, let you end the game. Fantastic card. Again, if you want to go buy one in real life, they're about $40, so, you know, save up for it. And then finally, Mass Manipulation, because why would you not have this card in your deck? Again, Kinnan already ramps out hard enough as it is, so the ability just to go take your opponent's creatures, either preventing them from having blockers or just gaining whatever advantage you have, even if it's as small as you just taking your opponent's really cool things. Again, this card pretty much will win you a game by itself if you use it at the right time. And then we have a bunch of lands. Castle Vendress, Desert Indomitable, Lonely Sandbar, Thriving Grove, Therical Thicket, Bark Channel Pathway, Breeding Pool, Dreamroot Citadel, Quindix Campus, Renwood Falls, Syndicate, Temple of Mystery, Thornwood, Woodland Stream, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Fail's Passage. Basically, they're all just cards for lands. And then finally, Reliquary Tower, because, like I said, you can draw cards with Kinnan, so why not have no maximum hand size? So that is the deck, guys. Like I said, Keenan equals big scary creatures that go burr. Looking at the deck, we do run an obscene amount of lands. We do run 46 lands, so you could trim that down if you want. However, Keenan decks do need to have lands in the opening beginning phase of the deck, and if the game does get reset with some sort of board wipe, which is why I do run that many lands. That way, if in the early game I have enough lands to do what I want to do, and then if the game does get reset and my land somehow got destroyed, I can just regain that advantage. Like I said, there are 14 lands in here, so or sorry, 14 forests. Sorry. So with Nissa, I can just thin my deck out 14 cards if I haven't drawn a single forest yet, which does help with the consistency of the deck. And then we do run 32 creatures. So yeah, you're gonna see this deck: creatures, lands, have fun with Simic. So let's see how I do with it in some games. All right, game one for Keenan versus. Okay, I know this. I know the commander. That's the 5 cost commander. So it's a ramp deck versus a ramp deck. And I actually got a really good hand. 4 lands, a signet, and then something to counter and something to draw cards with. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good hand. Um, there's no point in playing Breeding Pool yet because Sorenwood Falls comes in tap, so I might as well play it. I gain a life. I draw an Uru. Okay, okay. I think I just play my blue land. Yeah, then play the Signet. Next turn, I'll play Keenan with Breeding Pool. Or no. Perfect. I got another mana rock. Play this because that's gonna tap for mana. Now I play Breeding Pool. I pay the 2 life for it, and now I get to cast Keenan. All right, perfect. This is actually really good for me. I've got 2 mana rocks, 3 lands, Keenan. Um, Next turn I can Keenan. There's a Mind Stone. Okay. So he's trying to ramp as well. I just my ramps got off to a much better start. Play the Fabled Passage. Most of my abilities cost green, so I might as well go get another forest. Alright. Yeah, no point in playing anything else. So just Keenan. See what I get. Nice. A 12/12 dinosaur. Love to see it. Uh, Thanks. I might as well just attack with Keenan. I've never seen that deck run a lot of removal spells or like blue spells, so yeah, I don't know how he's gonna deal with the dinosaur and or Keenan. If I can, I'd like to keep a mana back for my heroic interventions to make sure that he can't do something sneaky. Whenever he casts a spell with mana, return for your. He doesn't have anything in his graveyard though. I guess he just wants a blocker. Um, I think I actually cast this now. Wait to turn on Keenan, because then when I attack next turn with Keenan, that and that, he has to block that. So this way, if he plays anything that I don't want to deal with, it'll have to deal with my Chimera. Just takes the 12 damage. That's cool. See what he does this turn. He pays the 2 life for it. Wow. 2 life for that though. I would not have done that. Yes, Gadon. Okay. Punches me for 2 any surrenders. Yeah, there's nothing he does there. All right. Next game with Keenan. Keenan versus Blue Red. Ugh. I hate these commanders. Literally, because it's just like no one gets to have fun except for you. So you get to have fun. But it's actually a really good hand for me. I get Mana Leaf Pixie, Arcane Signet, 3 lands, and Anticipate with a great hand for later. Actually, really, really good hand. I am a fan of it, so I'm going to keep it. Blue land. I might as well play the cycle in because it comes in tapped. So I just gotta ramp and just get to a point where I get to play creatures and he doesn't have enough counter spells to stop me. Okay, so play Forest. This allows me to play my Signet. And next turn I'll probably play Kinnan. Because I want him on the board before my opponent gets enough mana to counter him. However, he does have 2 mana, so isn't the greatest feeling. But I'll play the Mana Leaf Pixie. Opponent doesn't counter it, and then I'll play that and declare blue. Hi guys, Future Tom here. When I was editing this, I didn't realize I made a mistake. If I was smart, instead I would have actually played Kinnan instead of the Mana Leaf Pixie, played my Forest instead of that other land I played, use that Forest and the Arcane Signet to then play my Mana Leaf Pixie. So I could have had Kinnan and the Pixie out on the field if I just played it smarter. Sorry, I just realized that mistake and I figured I might as well correct it while I when I saw it. Back to the video. Hmm. Prison command. Okay. Create some treasure token? Oh no, is that a blood vial? Play Keenan. And play the Paradise Druid. Alright, so I got a good amount of ramp going. Play the Forest. And I'm not too scared because he only has 3 lands. I've got a lot of mana open. So I think I either Keenan next turn or I'm going to. Yeah, I'll grab this. Or I play the Great Hinge. If I play the Great Hinge, it's going to allow me to ramp even more, which wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing because, like I said, it is red blue. He's going to kill a lot of stuff. So the only thing that I can really think of doing is just, getting enough mana to the point where he just cannot counter everything, and I will get some stuff through. And I only need a little bit of stuff to get through, and I will be able to just go ham. So let's cash the Great Henge. Actually, I convinced myself. Boo. Boo. That was really nice. I did not see that coming at all. I should have recognized that he had 2 mana open, but I wasn't paying attention. Oops. Narset. Okay. So I don't get to draw. And he gets to search for a counter or a sorcery that he wants. Or an instant in this case. Okay. Yeah. Um 11/11 trample. Or I could play the bookworm. I think I'm gonna play the bookworm because I can actually just throw it back from the graveyard. If he does kill it with his 2 open mana. However, I don't think he will. Mainly because he's gonna look at it and see like I gain life. Or okay, never mind, he will counter it. I actually have a lot of open mana though. I don't know why he used that counter spell because I could pay for that. Yeah, okay. I didn't think he was gonna counter it just because Narset mitigates my ability to draw a card, so I thought he would have just let it go. And then look to bounce it in his turn or with some open mana, but okay. He's getting good use out of Narset just because I can't attack it unless I want to lose one of my mana dorks to that flying dragon that he has, and I'm not willing to do that. However, now with 7/7 trample, I Narset dies next turn. Treasure map. Okay. Um. Okay. So he has 1 mana open. So I'm free to Keenan, and I don't lose whatever I get. Oh, that's so good, but just in the wrong order. I wanted Kolga, and then next turn to get my God, and okay, he's turn. Sorry, GG's, dude. Was a good game. All right, next Keenan game. Oh yeah. All right. So we got Keenan versus another ramp deck. All right, this is a pretty solid hand. We got 5 lands, opt and anticipate. So we get to look and we get lands. Just gonna play breeding pool tapped. No need to pay the 2 life if I don't have to. Oh, oh, that's rude. 1/1 death touch. um, kind of think that I just anticipate, and hell yeah, that pays off. Let's go, questing beast. It's gonna take 2 more turns to get that out. It's fine. Nice. I like the unsummon. Play Keenan. Yeah, I was told the opt until his turn. Why does that have Shroud? Oh. Oh. Oh, that's gonna make my life kind of harder. Yeah, I don't need that. I like Mana Rock or something. Ask and you shall receive, apparently. Let's go. Right. Play the Signet because with Keenan it'll tap for 2, so I can still play my Questing Beast rather than just playing Questing Beast off the rip. May as well attack with it. Because he can't block it. So I got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So next turn I can Keenan. Wait, why are you looking at my stuff? Don't look at my stuff. Destroy target artifact turn. Okay, that slows down my ramp significantly. Enchant me creature. Lovely. Alright, so he's basically jailed that. Huh. Yeah, I'm just gonna dig, see what I get. I mean, I'll take the land right now. Mainly because I need to make up for losing that Signet. And Search of Greatness. Okay. Okay. Kind of annoying. Wait, why didn't he attack? Okay, I don't understand why he didn't attack there. Yeah, I don't have enough mana for Keenan. I mean, I may as well at this point, right? Just to get it out on the field. It'll come in handy later. I'm kind of wishing that I didn't ditch that end raise. I guess he didn't have anything that he could cast. Gain a life and draw. Level 2, okay. Okay. All right. Easy trade. 2 land for the Great Henge. Five, 6, 7. Trying to think. I have 7 mana open right now. I could keen in, or I could remove this and free my questing beast. And I think freeing the questing beast is the right play here. Just because it does give me another thing to block with. It is offensive. And he can't stop it, so I get to start whittling away at his remaining life points. Um yeah, and if he gets any planeswalkers out next turn, then I can start going after that. I think that was the correct play because I mean Kinnan is a kind of a chance, while having questing beast alive and active on the field is, it's just good. He's gaining all the life. That's annoying. He's really trying to shut down my ramp. As he should. It's just, it's annoying. +1/+1 trample. Tap in 3. Okay, so he's got himself some ramp where he gains 3 life. Okay. And he's gaining 3 life. Um. Hmm. Okay, well, nothing to spark double, so we'll just Keenan. That's not a bad card to get, actually. Attack with a questing beast, just try to keep his life down a little bit more. There's no point in attacking with the mammoth because he'll just sack the 1/1 to it, and I do need that trample later on. I mean, we're getting to that point now where if I can get just another big creature on the field, we're just gonna start swinging. I'm trying to think, what can I do? Put a +1/+1 counter on champion, draw a card. Okay, so that's gonna start getting big quickly. Um, oh, it doesn't have the shroud on it. Okay, so I actually can deal with this with my unsummon. Huh. Create an 8/8 creature or land. Um, hmm. Okay, yeah, he's definitely got that now. Um, I think. Yeah, I think I just bounced the land, actually. It's a 9/9. I don't feel like eating 9 damage right now. And because with this thing, it was only if he tapped a force, it would gain land. Or you gain the 2 additional force for tapping, so. All he has is white open right now, and I'm not too worried. He's gonna replay the forest, that's fine. Griffin Aviary. Okay, so he's gonna start making some flyers. He's getting to a point now where he's getting to be problematic. Alright, let's just keen in. Hope for something. Let's go! Creator of Beam. Creatures get XX, and yeah, that's game right there, my friend. Good game. Alright. Keenan versus Elsa or Elska. I don't remember how to pronounce it correctly, but this is another ramp deck versus a ramp deck. However, we have a beautiful hand, 3 lands, Leafkin Druid, Heraldic Banner, and Simic Locket. I'm 100% okay with this. Plus, we got Primal Hunger in our opening hand. So once we get going, we'll probably cast that for very less than what it is supposed to cost. Okay, so he's gonna scry. Play another land. I'll play my Leafkin Druid. Next turn, I'll play Keenan, and then use the Leafkin and another mana to play my one one of my 2 mana stones. Sorry, I got distracted looking at something. Um, Land or forest, island or forest. Might as well just play the forest. Uh, Play Kinnan. He does have 2 open blue. No, okay, he's not gonna stop Kinnan. Play Heraldic Banner. I'll declare green is my chosen, so let's hit a little bit harder, and there's the counter spell. Okay, that's cool. He's trying to stop my ramp, which is fine. I'd do the same thing if I was him. He played 3 life, had to come in. Okay, cultivate. So he's digging for lands, as he should with that deck. Another forest, cool. So play the forest to play the locket. Um, Might as well just attack for 2 with Kinnan. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 mana next turn. Migration Path. Okay, he's really digging for lands. But he's completely tapped out, so oh sweet. Okay, even better. That I was gonna do something different, but perfect. So we get a 10/10 dinosaur. Boom. But that's not it. Because then we can tap the Leafkin and play a 12/12 dinosaur. Attack with Kinnan. Let's see what he can do. He does have a lot of open mana, so he probably could deal with this if he draws the right cards. But either way, Pyrexene Arena. Okay. Either way, I'm in a really good spot right now. Painful Mastery. No! It exiled it. Oh, woe is me. Play this. Don't need that. This should hopefully get me a better Keen draw. So let's see what we get. Oh, Earthquake Dragon? Hell yeah. You got rid of a 10/10 dinosaur for a 10/10 flying dragon. And that's gonna cost him a life. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, what are you gonna do now, dude? Cast for Liliana. Sacrifice 2. That I still it's not enough. Yeah, okay, I need surrenders. GG's. So there you have it, guys. My deck profile for Keenan Bonder Prodigy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, it is a really fun deck when it gets going. Like I said, the only ways you can really stop it early is just keep killing Keenan. But you can definitely work around that. And yeah, it's a fun deck if you like so many giant big creatures that get to go burr a lot. And yeah, you like running over your opponent with them. You can get some pretty crazy boards, like in the pictures that I'm showing. You see here, I have Jigga, how many creatures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 10 creatures, and then even in my other one, when Crater Hoof comes out, everything's at least 11, 11, if not higher. So, like I said, you can have a lot of fun with this deck, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.